Switch to Martin. Melquito.
That's it long range. He's got it. This first in a Loyal jersey. 1-0 San Diego.
Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC ready to kick off this season.
Drew actually got a hand on it, and this one will go high and up it is! One more time!
Carruth Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived.
Matchday Live, the post-match edition from home and away in Old Town following a 3-1 loss for San Diego on the road in Tacoma. Loyal still looking for their first points of the season. It was loud here at home and away, but unfortunately for San Diego Loyal, their offense has been quiet to start the year.
1 goal tonight, Jordan, 2 goals on the season. We said it in the pre-match show. Take shots. Loyal came into the match having only taken 10 shots in 2 matches. Tonight, totally flipped the script. Statistically, San Diego Loyal was completely dominant in this match. There's not a statistical category that you could look at between Tacoma and San Diego that did not favor San Diego Loyal. But I remember a phrase from somebody who once upon a time said, stats are for losers. The scoreboard is what matters. And tonight, the scoreboard said 3-1 Tacoma Defiance over San Diego Loyal. We can sit here and spin it any way we want. This is now a start for San Diego Loyal, which has produced 0 wins, 0 draws, 3 losses, bottom of the table, and no real offense to speak of. So statistically, yeah, I mean, it looked really, really good. If you were to just present somebody the statistics of the match, they would say, wow, I really like that team. Did that team win? That team did not win tonight. The other team won.
Yeah, shots do not always equal goals. San Diego proving that tonight. Plenty of shots, plenty of opportunities, but struggling to find a finisher in Tacoma. So that is the reason Tacoma did not come out and have a plethora of shots the way San Diego did. In fact, Tacoma put their first 2 shots in the back of the net. San Diego, it took a while. We did see Jack Metcalf score his first ever goal for San Diego Loyal. He has scored before, but it was a preseason match at Carruth Stadium, so it's been a while for Jack Metcalf. Very nice for him to open his account. But once again, the offense is quiet. You're looking for someone who can finish. That's something that San Diego had late last year, Darren, but to start this season, it's not something they've had. And it doesn't get much easier for San Diego going forward. They're going to continue their road stretch and an even more difficult opponent on their schedule next weekend, Saturday. They're on the road at Louisville. So it doesn't get much easier. It's a team that they need to figure out who's going to be the one to score goals. Ben Spencer, Jack Metcalf, the only players to have scored for San Diego so far this year. No way they're going to be happy flying home from Tacoma.
Absolutely not. And just to underscore Jordan's point, 4 shots on target tonight for Tacoma. 3 of them went into the net.
Yeah.
8 shots on target tonight for San Diego Loyal. 1 of them went into the net. So finishing left a lot to be desired. I thought it was great that Loyal seemed to create so many different chances. You and I would agree. It certainly felt like at some point, was the dam finally going to burst? Was Loyal going to be able to string together passes, goals, right, and put this one away, maybe make it a laugher? But instead, it went the complete opposite direction. So chances were there, but finishing probably going to be a priority point for Landon Donovan and Nate Miller this week.
Yeah, you can look at the style on the field, the performance, the stats, and you can say they look pretty good. If you look at the table right now, San Diego, the worst team in USL. They're still looking for their first point. So we gave you the standings. Phoenix, Sacramento still atop the division with their 6 points. Tacoma shoots up, and they are now level with Los Dos. They each have 4. And you have Oakland and San Diego and Las Vegas still looking for their first points. And now San Diego have already played 3 matches. Orange County, no points, but they have yet to even open their season. You give them 3 matches, pretty good expectation. They're going to have more than 0. So San Diego, the way it is, the way it has started, they are going to be playing catch-up going forward. Longer season, so a little bit more wiggle room, but either way, this is not the way you want to start.
Yeah, you don't want to dig yourself a hole so deep that you're going to be spending a ton of energy just climbing out of it, right? And probably premature to say that if we're being fair, but it's starting to feel that way, especially given the way that San Diego Loyal has fallen in Phoenix, dropped at RGV, and then here again tonight. Match, frankly, like I said, and like Jordan said, that they dominated statistically, but it just doesn't matter. What matters is the final, and that's 3-1 to Tacoma. So, Jordan, this is not going to get any easier here. May 29th at home. Tonight, if you were at home and away, if you're watching this a little later on, or if you spent a little bit of time here, we can tell you this: the energy inside of Torero Stadium is going to be amazing, because the energy here at home and away was spectacular tonight. But what needs to happen now is that energy needs to translate out there on the field for San Diego Loyal, and it's just not happening for them. This was much better. I don't know that you would say that this was much better than it was last week at RGV, but at times it felt like those chances were there to be had, and maybe with some better finishers on the squad or some improvement in that category, Jordan, we'll start to see that here moving forward. But it's just been a terrible start to the second season here for San Diego Loyal in every single aspect of it.
Yeah, I think the offense has looked better. It looked better tonight than it did last week in Texas. The defense tonight, I think, looked worse than it did in Texas. Mental lapses, it looked like there were moments where they kind of just sunk back, allowed goals to happen instead of being aggressive and trying to take it back. So there were moments defensively where you were left scratching your head at the end of this one, wondering how did you give up 3 goals with such limited amount of shots. And San Diego on the other side, you're only going to add to your frustration because you're putting a lot of shots up and you're not getting the goals. If you can look at it individual, Ben Spencer had a lot of opportunities tonight. He had put one in the back of the net, but the offside call, the flag went up. He had another moment where he hit the post. He had another chance beyond that. There was a moment, I picked Ben Spencer in our pick to kick. I looked to Darren at one point and I said, I think I'm going to have 12 points coming up. I think we might have 4 points. Turns out we're all still with 0, unless Jack Metcalf was assisted, which I don't think there was an assist on that goal. So I believe everyone on our pick to kick still with 0 points. I thought Ben Spencer had plenty of chances to score tonight, and he didn't.
He did not. And, we got a little bit spoiled last year because we saw a really, really terrific player in Rubio Rubin. And thinking that somehow pieces were interchangeable, that others would just pick right up where Rubio Rubin left off. That's not started that way at all here for San Diego Loyal. So somebody said it to me tonight, somebody from the club, maybe it needs to get a little bit worse before it gets better. Maybe there was a little bit too much hype about, well, this is a club that's got championship aspirations, and this is the club now that fancies itself amongst the Phoenixes, Sacramentos of the world. Maybe this team needs to bottom out just a little bit, maybe a little bit of soul searching. Whatever it takes. There's only so much you can do with the starting 11. There's only so much you can do rotating different players. You're fighting against a couple of injuries tonight, especially on that back line with Grant Stoneman, Joshua Yarrow. But at some point here, these opportunities, it was great to see that. Like, it really was. It was exciting stuff. Right towards the tail end of the first half, I really thought Loyal sort of just fell asleep. That was a lazy goal to let in from Tacoma. There was no real skill there on Tacoma's side at all. It was one of those mental lapses you and I talked about on Instagram Live at the half, where we saw that a lot in 2020. Sometimes the team just seemed like it lost its edge, it lost its concentration 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time. It felt that way at the end, right? Like, sort of against the run of play, Loyal seemed to be just dominating the match. They were certainly statistically, and nobody had yet punched one through, but you felt like it's just a matter of time for Loyal. And then sure enough, Tacoma scores and you go, well, isn't that something? And it was. And then coming out of the gates, give Loyal credit. They came down, their heads were not hung. They came back, they scored there in the 51st minute. Jack Metcalf, as you said, opens up his account, and you think, all right, well, here comes the second one. Maybe this is going to open up the floodgates. It just didn't happen. Alec Diaz in the 73rd. Again, it didn't really feel like Tacoma was building towards anything whatsoever. They just made the most of the small amount of opportunities that they had, and that's the story of the match.
Looking at the comments on YouTube right now, our listeners, obviously, our viewers, sharing with the frustration because it doesn't get any easier for San Diego. They go on the road against a very good team in Louisville. So unless they come out with their best performance of the season, San Diego in jeopardy of dropping their first 4 matches of the year. We'll see how they respond. It could be one where they come out and they play their best match against a very good team on the road. We're just going to have to wait wait to find out. But we share in the frustration because I'm trying to figure out what the strength is of the team right now. We're 3 games into the season, and you tell me, Darren, what is the strength? Is it the defense? Is it the offense? Is it the midfield? I don't know what it is right now. We don't exactly know who the goal scorer is going to be 3 goals in. And now you look at the back line, they gave up 4 against Phoenix, which, I mean, Phoenix is going to score a lot of goals, so you don't want to discredit them too much, but 4 goals against Phoenix, a late dramatic goal on the road in Texas, and then 3 more against Tacoma. You can't say the back line has been a strength, and they've dealt with some changes, they've dealt with some injuries, and so I'm left after 3 matches wondering, what is the strength of this team?
I don't have an answer for you. You know, this is a squad now that has also changed formations. Let's not forget that as well. For the most part, what we've watched with Loyal has been a 3-5. You know, they've played a much different shape, to the point where we had sort of wondered maybe this wasn't the best shape for the club to play in. I thought that they, you know, statistically were way better. The 4-4-2 with the diamond in the middle, it definitely, I thought, brought, you know, a lot of highlights and a lot of opportunity. But, you know, when you're reworking things now 3 matches into the season, and maybe that was just for tonight, you know, Tacoma's not Phoenix, Tacoma's not RGV, Tacoma's not Louisville. Tacoma's a club that's only won 3 times in its last 13. So, you know, I know it sounds like, well, wait a second here. What are you guys talking about? What has Loyal done exactly that you would predict that they would come home with 3 points? You know, well, some of that is Tacoma too. You know, some of that is expectations on Loyal, but some of that also is Tacoma. You know, Tacoma's just not been some great club here at all. An MLS2 club here, the Sounders club. So, you know, their history sort of suggested that this was one, if you consider yourself a playoff caliber contender, this is one of those ones where you expect to come home with a result.
Yeah, I'm sure we're not the only ones who thought this going into the match. In fact, we talked about it on the pre-match show. You kind of felt like you had to get this one at Tacoma because of the results in the first 2 matches and knowing what the schedule is going forward next weekend. So it felt like a little bit more pressure to at least get a point tonight. And then you come up with 0, Tacoma getting 3. They have 4 points through their first 2 matches. San Diego scoreless, without any points, through their first 3. It is not the start that many people expected at all. Remember, the national perspective, not just here in San Diego, national perspective was this is a playoff team. This is a team that can compete for a championship. That's not the team we've seen to start in the first 3 games. The good news, plenty of time to turn it around. They are going through adjustments with injuries, formations as well. But tonight felt like one of those games where you really wanted to come away with at least a point. And the fact that you don't is going to leave people very frustrated, including the team flying home from Tacoma. The next match for San Diego Loyal, they're going to close out their 4-match road trip. They head east to face Louisville City FC next Saturday, May 22nd at 4 p.m. You can watch the match live on Antenna TV 69.2. You can stream it on the Fox 5 app. You also can watch it on ESPN+. He's Darren Smith. I'm Jordan Carruth. This is Matchday Live from home and away in Old Town. The locals are still here. Chavos are still here. Beers are still flowing. The drums quieted down just a little bit. And I'm not so sure the neighbors are happy with us right now, but really, who cares? We'll take a break. We'll come back to home and away in Old Town. We're back after this.
Old Town!
Your summer starts here. With big savings on a new Toyota, you can go out and do all the things that make summer the best time of the year. But don't miss out on all the fun. See your Toyota dealer and catch a great deal today.
Right now, drive home a stylish new Corolla with a low $199 a month lease. Or you can save big with $1,500 factory cash back.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
At Chosen Foods, we are inspired by the vibrant culinary lifestyle of the Baja Med and, of course, by avocados. From our flagship avocado oil to our family of dressings, mayos, simmer sauces, and guacamoles, the versatility of all Chosen Foods avocado-based products offer you the freedom to be both healthy and creative in the kitchen. Join us in the sun-drenched utopia of Chosen Foods, the avocado. Celebrate it.
During this pandemic, many families are worried about visiting healthcare facilities. I'm Dr. Gail Knight, Rady Children's Senior Vice President and Chief Medical Officer. I'd like to share with you the advice that I give my own family and friends. The best thing that you can do to keep your child healthy is to continue to keep routine appointments like vaccinations and regular checkups. This keeps you, your child, and our community as protected as possible. We are always open, we are here for you, and we are safe.
All right, welcome back to Home and Away. You know, the Loyal open up the home schedule coming up on May 29th. Is there anything else happening that day?
Champions League final, Chelsea, Manchester City. I'm glad you asked.
Well, at 7:30 p.m. on that Saturday night, Loyal is hosting Las Vegas Lights. You can be one of the first to witness live soccer action again here in San Diego. Kickoff is set for 7:30. It's May 29th, Torero Stadium at USD on the campus of USD. Priority access is going to be given to all SD Loyal ticket members. You can get your membership today at sdloyal.com/membership, or you can email tickets at sdloyal.com. Jordan, for those that are watching here on YouTube, on the SD Loyal YouTube page, if we can take the energy that was here at Home and Away, what is the home opener going to be like against Las Vegas?
Very loud.
Very loud.
Plenty
Will
of
the neighbors
drums.
complain?
Yes, I would say so. At least they did here. I don't know if we're ever going to get invited back to Home and Away. We were too good. Like, we had too much fun here.
We were good. We were really good. Yeah,
we were better than the performance on the field. We may not be coming back to Home and Away. We were so good, guys. It's something to pay attention to. We'll see. But
we loved it here, though.
We were noisy.
Say, they treated us well. The food was good. The drink was cold.
Yeah.
It was solid, and we had an amazing time.
Yeah.
So
and by
wherever we're going to
noisy,
go,
it's the locals, it's Chavos, it's the supporters, both groups here tonight, making plenty of noise.
Yeah, and you know, as the saying goes, and I like it too that Chavos de Loyal picked it up and started singing, you know, win or lose, we drink the brews. And certainly that is the case for the post-match show as well. Here with Jordan Carruth, I'm Darren Smith.
I'm without a beer right now, and that is just not a great combination following a loss. I feel like if we were having a losing post-match show, I should have a beer. I have a feeling, hey, it's right here. How about that?
Hey. How about that?
We'll cheers. Oh, you're not even done with your first. We'll put that down. Definitely needed that. Now we can continue our post-match show. I want to talk about a couple of the individual performances tonight. Ben Spencer, someone we talked about, had a couple opportunities. We saw a few in the first half, again in the second half. Ben Spencer had his chances, did not convert. Alejandro Guido had a great opportunity, did he not? Breakaway, beat his defender, got a shot on, did not convert. They had their chances. Metcalf was able to put one away, but it looked like with the amount of chances that they had, clearly they should have scored more than just one goal there, and they come up short. Offense, I think, is the most frustrating part tonight, which is kind of surprising. If you told me going into tonight that San Diego were going to allow 3 goals against Tacoma, I would tell you the back line is probably the biggest obstacle, and that would be the challenge. The most frustrating part for me tonight, the offense. They couldn't finish when they had the chance to do it. They need to against teams against Louisville. If teams like Tacoma are going to make you pay for not capitalizing on your chances, just imagine what Louisville and Phoenix down the road, who we do see a couple more times coming up, are going to do to you. So, hey, you can talk about the long season all you want, but you got to get things going offensively. You got to find the back of the net clearly, and that is the goal for them as they go to Louisville, a team that has not been allowing a lot of goals, and in fact, they've been scoring a lot too. They are very good to start the year. A couple wins, including a draw against Pittsburgh, so it's going to be a pretty big test for San Diego.
Well, you know, we said it in our opening segment, Jordan, that Loyal not only dominated statistically, they dominated Tacoma, but they also dominated their own history. You know, they set some records tonight for crosses, for shots on target. Alejandro Guido set an individual record for most shots in a match with 6. Unofficial, so subject to change. The league obviously takes a look at this and will give us the final numbers, but that's a club record. 6 shots for Alejandro Guido. for the life of me, you know, they seem pretty benign. You know, those shots seem pretty benign. You know, it seemed like Loyal did an amazing job in the build-up, getting into the attacking third. They spent more time in the attacking third than they had in their previous 2 matches. But some of the numbers tonight weren't just what they did against Tacoma, it's what they've done against their own history. Now 19 matches into this, like this was statistically one of the best matches that they ever had. But again, like the stats are for losers and the scoreboard is for the winners. So where do you go from here if you're Landon Donovan and Nate Miller? What do you do with this performance, which was statistically very good, but the result was, you know, was second worst outside of Phoenix?
Yeah,
maybe even worse considering the opponent?
Well, I think it's a really good question because now do you make any changes with this starting 11? Because it produced a lot of shots, but you're going up against a bigger challenge in Louisville. Are you going to be able to tweak it? Will there be players coming back from injury that will be available all of a sudden? It's a really good question. What do you do, if anything, before that match against Louisville? I don't know what the changes would be. You're dealt with injuries on the back line. You have new players coming in, making their debuts. You kind of got to get things settled rather quickly. I don't know if I would make a lot of changes, but we already saw one change tonight, not just with the lineup, but the formation as well. So they do. Nate Miller, Landon Donovan have some questions to answer.
You know, would you swap out Ben Spencer for Nicky Jackson and see if you can find a little bit of magic there with Curry Herzog and with Nicky Jackson? Do you want to leave Ben back out there and say, hey, maybe the finishing will get a little bit better? I mean, he was in a position, he put himself in a position where he could have scored, right? Like, you know, I mean, especially jokingly, you know, you and Shannon McMillan picked him in the pick to kick. So, you know, you're rooting on that level, and we're rooting for the club also to walk, you know, to be able to walk out of there with 3 points and come back home and get prepared for Louisville, right? Build on something. Ben Spencer's sort of an enigma right now because he puts himself in a position where, you know, he realistically could have had 3 goals tonight. And, you know, he walks away with none, and it becomes a very frustrating thing to watch, and especially 3 matches in with a club that scored only 2 times.
Right. We did see Ben Spencer score a couple times in the preseason. He scored the first goal of the season for San Diego in Phoenix.
He's frisky, right? We said this during the halftime. Like, he's a frisky player. He's there. He's putting himself in a position, and he's like almost Ben Spencer. Almost.
I'd keep him in. I'd start him again next week. I would keep him in there. He put himself in those opportunities. He didn't, I mean, he hit the post on one, the flag goes up on another. It looks like he was actually offside as they go back and look at the detailed camera angles. But I would keep him out there. He was producing opportunities, and you hope he can convert a few when they're on the road in Louisville. Siegel game tickets going to go on sale next week. This was announced earlier today. They go on sale next Wednesday, May 19th at 10 a.m. All matches starting with the June 19th match against Phoenix Rising. Visit sdloyal.com/tickets for more information. 3-1 the final score. Tacoma take down San Diego. Now San Diego Loyal prepare for a very difficult matchup against Louisville coming up next Saturday. We'll take our final timeout from home and away. We're here in San Diego. We're back after this.
It starts off with a little seed. And with a little love from nature, it sprouts to life. And when delicious fresh fruits and veggies are perfect, they are rushed to the home of fresh. Sprouts, where goodness grows.
Want a perfect pair of sunglasses for your every occasion? Hit up the Knockaround Custom Shop. With over 1 million possible combinations, why not get a pair for every you? 8 a.m. I need a coffee you. Clocking a few miles you. Game day you. Happy camper you. Fun in the sun you. On the slopes you. Dog days you. Happy hour you. Si se puede you. The Knockaround Custom Shop. You design them, we build them.
I'm not even sure what's happening here, and I know it's fast, but I'm in love with you. We're gonna be together forevs, and I'm gonna keep you looking good, boo. That's why I got you unlimited washes. That's right, we're gonna binge wash, babe. Commit to your car. What are you waiting for?
All right, welcome back to Home and Away in Old Town. He's Jordan Carruth, I'm Darren Smith. This is Matchday Live. You can buy the newest SD Loyal gear, kits, the Adidas collection, some unique designs that you can't find anywhere else at the shop. You can shop online today at the shop.sdloyal.com, or you can visit the shop in Mission Valley. 3-1, the final tonight from Tacoma, Defiance over Loyal.
Yeah.
Though I don't know what they were doing up at Tacoma, but we won the night here in Old Town. We won the night at Home and Away. We were loud, and win or lose, you know what we say, we drink the booze.
Yes. Cheers to that. Looking at the comments on YouTube, Chip asked the question, when San Diego come home, will we be welcoming them with any points in the standings? That is a big question. Will they be able to get any points at Louisville? If not, there's your answer. It's going to be tough. We'll see. But that's a good time to start getting some points, isn't it? At home, hopefully they can go on the road. With all these matches on the road to start, remember, summer is going to be in San Diego. A lot of matches at home for SD Loyal in the summer. So is that a time where you can really go on a run? The way it's set up to start, it looks like San Diego will have to go on one of those kind of runs coming up this summer. Let's talk about a couple more of the individuals tonight. You talked about the starting lineup potentially changing next week. Let us know, would you make any changes? Would there be someone you would start or not start at Louisville? Let us know. Darren, I thought you brought up a pretty good point. Wondering, I don't know, maybe we do see some changes next week in Louisville.
I'm just wondering if we're seeing Corey Herzog mentally just really pressing here to try to get something done, right? Corey Herzog was being brought in. He's asked to fill some pretty big shoes. Because when you have Rubio Rubin and you have Miguel Berry on this squad last year, we saw what that looked like down the stretch. That's part of the reason why we really felt like SD Loyal coming into its second season here in 2021 was in line certainly to be a playoff contender, and it's too early to say that they're not. But in terms of filling shoes, we looked at Corey Herzog and said, hey, you've got the third all-time leading scorer in USL Championship history. This is a guy who's going to be a perfect fit. You're going to have a midfield. You're going to have Colin Martin, Alejandro Guido. They're going to be able to get the ball, distribute, get the ball to Corey Herzog, and he's going to be able to finish. We know with Corey, his history suggests those goals come in bunches. But I am wondering if he's pressing just a little bit, Jordan, especially now that everybody pays attention. Every time we see the SD Loyal Twitter account tweet out when Rubio Rubin does something, he's had an amazing start to his MLS career. That's last season, this is this year. Maybe Corey's feeling it just a little bit, that pressure to perform, fit in with the new club. Maybe he's starting to feel a little bit like, hey, this has got to be on me, this has got to be on my shoulders. I wonder if next week maybe you see Corey come in off the bench a little bit. Not as a punishment, we're not talking about punishing Corey Herzog, we're just saying, maybe it would do him some good just to watch the first half from the bench, come on, figure out a way. Now, he's been there. He's been in the attacking third. He's certainly got a great resume. But I wonder just mentally if he's starting to think a little bit more out there rather than just react. There was one moment where the ball, he catches it in second half in the box, and instead of just turning and shooting and instinctively doing what Corey Herzog has done so well throughout his career, it seemed like he was thinking a little bit, and he allowed the defense to close in on him. So, maybe just a little bit of a mental break for Corey. I know that doesn't sound great to say that Ben and Nicky should start, given, Ben scored a goal and Nicky really hasn't done all that much either. I just wonder if you're trying to unlock something here with Corey Herzog. Maybe a little bit of time watching the match and coming in as a second half sub would do him well.
Yeah. We watched Reno one time last year. That's when Reno came to San Diego and took care of Loyal. Corey Herzog a part of that. Here's what I was picturing with Corey Herzog this year, Darren. I was imagining someone that would fire off shots from pretty much anywhere, and especially in this league, USL Championship, you can get some deflections, set up some pretty easy tap-in goals, some rebound goals. That's what I was imagining with Corey Herzog. Firing off shots from everywhere, inside and outside the box, and just kind of creating some chaos. We have yet to really see that. Now, is it opportunities? Is it confidence? Is it Again, I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Pressing, maybe a little bit?
Maybe part of it is mental. You just don't know.
So our guy Jerry strolling on by there, getting a little bit of camera time. Right, and I don't say this as in like, hey, okay, I've seen everything I need to see out of Corey Herzog.
No,
I understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying, maybe he needs just a little bit of a, hey, watch it from the bench. He hasn't played 90 minutes anyway. So, what if instead of him being subbed out in the second half of a match, what if he came on in the second half of a match? Give him a little bit of a mental break. One thing we've learned about Corey Herzog, we know how badly he wants to perform. We know how badly he wants to win. So, this start, as bad as it is for everybody, I'm sure, he is internalizing that because he feels like I'm the one who's supposed to score these goals. I'm the one who's supposed to replace the goal scorers who are no longer here. There's not a long list of goal scorers on this squad that have scored goals for San Diego Loyal. Those guys are gone. So from that standpoint, I just think, maybe he needs a little bit of a break mentally. And then all of a sudden, Jordan, at the end of the year, I still expect Corey Herzog is going to lead this team in scoring. After 3 matches, I'm not going to say that Corey Herzog isn't going to lead the squad in scoring. It just hasn't happened. It hasn't clicked, and it looks like he's thinking a little bit out there. It looks like the game's a little quick. So, give him a break. Just give him a half off, especially against Louisville. Let him go out there and poach and be the Corey Herzog that we expect.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we've had a game yet where Corey Herzog is playing his style, right? Like he's in control. He's doing what he wants to do out on the field. We're still waiting for that. Will it come? Yes, it will definitely come. Has it come yet? No, it has not. And San Diego need it to come sooner rather than later. I think Alejandro Guido, another player, like you said, a couple shots. You don't remember all of them.
Most shots in club history. 6 shots.
And you don't remember all of them. There was one really, really good opportunity that it looked like it was going in. It was deflected. Someone else to talk about tonight, Jordan Chavez, who makes his debut. Looked really good early on, but then he did have that moment on that final goal, the 3rd goal. So that was the big slip up for Chavez, but the moments that we saw prior to that, I was pretty impressed. I thought he looked really good leading up until that moment.
Yeah, and my guess is that Hunter Ashworth gets subbed off at the half. He makes his Loyal debut tonight. I'm just going to guess that has something to do with match fitness. I didn't see anything in the first half, just watching it here, even amongst all the distractions that we had at home and away in Old Town with the loud drums banging from Chavos de Loyal and the locals who were just, again, so phenomenal tonight. But I thought that had to do more with match fitness. Him and Thomas Bancaizio, they actually played together 4 times last year in Pittsburgh. So there's familiarity, good communication between those two. I was thrilled to see Jordan Chavez get back out there. First time he had appeared in a match in his 6 matches with San Diego Loyal. So good to see a local guy get back out there as well. So loved it from that standpoint. Some of those goals in the half, the team was so up forward that, it just seemed like, there was chaos on the back. And, what'd you think about Trey Muse tonight?
I thought Muse looked good for the most part. I don't think that all 3 goals were his fault. I think the first goal, probably his fault. Probably could have been better. Yeah. But beyond that, I don't think Trey Muse was the issue tonight for San Diego. I think it was miscommunication on the back line. I think it was moments in the game where you kind of just sat back a little bit and allowed Tacoma to do some things. Those were the moments. And of course the moments where you're not finishing. You're getting your chances in front of the net. You're getting the shots, but they're not going in. Of course, that is going to be a big one as well. Darren, as we wrap it up, I want to tell everyone about the shop at SD Loyal. You can buy the newest SD Loyal gear, including kits, the Adidas collection, and some unique designs you're not going to be able to find anywhere else but the shop. Shop online today at theshop.sdloyal.com, or you can visit the shop in Mission Valley. Any final thoughts here from home and away? A very loud home and away tonight, courtesy of the supporters group. Excited for Louisville, that's my main thing. I really want to see how this team is going to respond now against an even better side next weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Louisville, Lou City, has what's considered to be the crown jewel soccer-specific stadium in the USL Championship, about $65 million spent on Lynn Family Stadium. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that atmosphere is like. I think this has been a symbol of the growth of the USL Championship. So I want to watch that. That's coming up next Saturday. But in terms of Loyal themselves, Jordan, I still think the score line here told a little bit of a different story other than the performance. So I don't know that it got better from week 2 to week 3, from match day 2 to match day 3. But you'd still like to see, give everybody something to believe that this club is going to figure out a way to turn it around. Yeah. Opportunities were there. It's just now a matter of capitalizing on those opportunities. Easier said than done. But I don't feel like this was a performance that you go, oh my goodness, there was nothing. Phoenix was a performance where you went, They were nothing to take out of this at all. Maybe you can sugarcoat it and say Trey Muse ended up tying a SD Loyal record for most saves in a match. There was a lot here tonight. There was a lot. But man, it's just frustrating because you sort of wonder now, like, is Ben Spencer going to be the guy? Where's Corey Herzog? Who is going to carry the weight for San Diego Loyal here in terms of providing offense and putting that ball in the back of the net?
Yeah. Next one for San Diego on the road at Louisville. If you can win that game, it's very easy to forget tonight's result, isn't it? Like, if you can only win tonight or at Louisville, I'll take that win at Louisville. That tells me a little bit more. But that means you have to go on the road and beat a very, very good team. Yeah. So that's the thing. You can easily forget about this one in Tacoma next week. But if not, if you go on the road and you lose again, that means you're coming back home after a long road trip with 0 wins, 0 draws, and that means 0 points. And clearly that's not the way they wanted to come home to Torero Stadium.
Plus, we want to see some points in the pick to kick. We don't even need to update these standings because nobody had Jack Metcalf. So
I was so close.
We've got nothing across the board. I feel bad now calling Shannon McMillan and bothering her, and calling Jack Cronin and asking Chavos and asking locals to help make a pick. But this will turn. I do feel like this will turn. Maybe it's going to turn from within Jordan. Maybe it's got to turn from somewhere outside of the organization. That's the way it turned around last year. It's a long season. Players become available. But, I still would like to see this unit in particular here maybe play a second match, maybe capitalize on those opportunities, a little bit more clinical finishing. And we're having a much different post-match show. Everybody's in here banging the drums and probably pouring beers on us.
Right. All right, he's Darren Smith. I'm Jordan Carruth. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll see you again next Saturday at Louisville. We'll be around San Diego. We'll keep you updated on where we're going to be, so make sure you stay tuned to that. Come watch Matchday live in person. Locals are here, Chavos here as well. Join the party next week. We'll let you know where we're going to be. Any other final thoughts you want to get to before we say goodbye and continue drinking our sorrows?
Just win or lose, we drink the brews, brother.
It's time to get moving with the financial partner that's here for your journey. From small steps to big milestones, USE Credit Union is here for you. With tools to help you bank fast, solutions to help you go far, and a team of dream makers that's ready to help you step forward with confidence. USE Credit Union.